for every speech that you give, there's actually three. The one you prepared, the one that you give, and the one you wish you had given.
Yeah, you already have an impactful idea, but let's make sure when you tell about it, it's just as impactful. Let's go!
I've always been interested in communication and interaction between people. And then when I started out working, I saw really soon, rather soon, I also became a manager and I was managing people, and I was working on communication projects for the European Commission. And I saw how important it is that you express yourself well, but then next to just or simply expressing yourself well, this should also come with a certain level of consciousness, maturity, good leadership. So the combination of those two, I felt, were critical skills, essential skills in the world of work, and skills that were not always given proper attention. People take it for granted because clearly, when we are, 1-2 years old, we start speaking, everybody can speak. But can we really inspire, engage, and show up with that presence and leadership and connect with people? That's the question.
That's a fascinating view, because exactly what you're saying, like nobody is like, there's no study to become a better presenter. What do you study? Like this, yeah, I become a better presenter. It doesn't exist, but we all assume that everybody can do it, and it's a very important skill, right? Like you say, with the work of work, but also for entrepreneurs. Like if you cannot tell what you have in your mind, like how can you have the impact that you want to have?
Yeah, indeed. And because people also often, maybe was your next question, ask me, how did you become a speaker coach? And in a way, it has been like years in the making, and following what I felt I had to do, and following my passion in a way, and learning step by step the different aspects, both working. What I find is absolutely crucial is there is what you say, there is how you say it, and there's a content, and then how you say it is performance, delivery. It's all about the connection. But then the confidence part, the work on yourself, the self-leadership, owning yourself so you can own the stage, that is what makes a difference in my work. Meaning that, of course, there are techniques to learn. There's plenty of tools and techniques and ways to structure and how to do storytelling. But there is also that inside out work that really makes a difference, and that I enjoy doing a lot in my program. Yeah.
So what you're saying is there's a lot of structure out there that you can follow and you just follow. But when the foundation of your own confidence is not completely built yet, then that is something we should focus on first, so that the impact that we make with the structure that we already did will have way more effect.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know how you say this in English, but communicating vases. Like if you work on the content, that it's your preparation, this will help your confidence. But it's important to always also give attention on the confidence part. I check this with my clients. With some, there's a lot of work to do there, with others less. But it's an essential part. Yeah. This being said, I also want to say that your speech or your presentation never has to be perfect. I think real people prefer real speech rather than perfect. And also on the confidence side, or like the nervousness, I always say when I work on nervousness with people, the goal is not to never be nervous again. The goal is to learn how to manage your nerves, which comes down to managing your energy, because nervousness is nervous energy. And if you look away from it, then it will play against you. I come back to haunt you, but if you look it straight into the eyes and channel that energy, it can really empower you and help you speak with impact, help you engage, etc. Yeah.
This is an interesting part, because if you're saying we have to build a foundation, we don't have to push it away, but rather accept it and work with it. Then if I'm listening as a person right now, I would be very fascinated in, okay, how can I do this then? What
Yeah.
is the first step?
Yes. So the question is, how can I start working on that?
Inner confidence, basically.
Yeah. It goes then because there are several aspects. And okay, before I answer your question, I also wanted to add, there is structures, there is rules, but I think in public speaking, it's very important to also to know the rules and break the rules, do it your own way, because it's not just a science and exact, it's more artistic, more creative, and the more creative and personal it is, the more effect you will have. So question, where do you start with the inner confidence? It's checking in with your inner conversation. How do I talk to myself? Is it like, am I good enough? Oh, what if I forget something? Oh, yeah, last time presentation didn't go so well. So yeah, probably it's not going to go well. As you can tell, this is the inner critic rather than the inner cheerleader. Mm-hmm. So this is really the coaching part, where with my clients, we talk about this, like, how do you speak to yourself? And this conversation is initiated by questions, and these questions come from your mindset, which can be disempowering or empowering. Some people stand on a stage and you can tell by their body language that they are thinking, oh, I want to escape. Mm-hmm. That's kind of their mindset, and it's not really helpful. So then I give people, and mindset is very abstract, right? There's so much talk about mindset, and which is very good. But I like to make it more concrete, like, okay, what is then your mindset? This could be, when I speak, it matters. I'm well prepared. I look forward to connect to my audience. Like, these are very different mindsets with which you show up. And with my client, I typically define like a short list of 3 or 4 that they can use, apply, so they find their power. And it also comes down to, this is also work that I do with everybody. All the people I work with, they have a lot of knowledge, they are experts in some way. And when we work, we get stuck in our thinking. We operate so much at the thinking level, and there's nothing wrong with that. Also, as a speaker, please keep using your mind and think, but you also have to have a connection with your feelings. And to go into that feeling level is very important, that alignment. So that is, if you talk about inner confidence, it's also about alignment, being aligned also with your heart, with yourself as a human being, and with your courage, with your vulnerability. So making that shift from thinking to also being, that's really important, because that's where you can tap into your powerful presence, find it and bring it about. Wow. So that's an important key. Yeah.
I like how you say that, because often public speaking is put like a trick, right? Or indeed, like, you have the structure, or but it's more like a skill, but maybe even beyond. It's like a life skill. It's like what I really like about what you said is, it's not about only the thinking, but about the being. You are a person there. You are a person standing there with your enthusiasm, with your flaws and qualities, but it's you. And when you start to feel that confidence from being you, then you start to feel more comfortable and confident about actually conveying your ideas, which will already be awesome because you know a lot about it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you totally understood. It's really about this being and feeling, and also landing a bit in your body, not a bit, but landing in your body. Because if you're stuck in your head and just a talking head, then you will get stressed and you will start to be afraid. Whilst when you connect with yourself first, that's a condition to be able to connect with others. And then you can also let go of perfectionism, or be more in the moment. I also always say, like, you come with a plan and you go with the flow. Because there's also, another one. For every speech that you give, there's actually 3. The one you prepared, the one that you give, and the one you wish you had given. And when I say this, people always go like, yes, indeed, of course, this makes sense. But still, everybody wants, I mean, most people want the speech to go exactly as they had in mind up front. But the power is also in being able to let go of that control. Yeah.
Wow, I like that a lot. And
Yeah.
because what I like so much about what you're saying, it becomes so much bigger than giving some information. Right?
Yes.
Because it's basically the mindset, how you look at things. And
Yeah.
when adversity, variety, flexibility, adjustment, pureness comes in place, and you can embrace that as a person, you
Yeah.
will find it on stage as well. So maybe can I even say, like, I'm thinking out loud here, that the person you are in on a stage talking in front of people is like a bit of a mirror for you, where you are vulnerable as a personality.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You mean that the audience functions as a mirroring your energy, the energy that you bring in the room?
No,
Or
it's more like the stuff that you feel comfortable about and you feel confident in. That is exactly what you're showing in this vulnerable position, talking in front of people. But the stuff that you feel more insecure about, or that you're less confident in, gets showcased on that stage, because it's such a vulnerable place where everybody looks at you. So if
yeah.
in your daily life you have a hard time embracing uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
change,
Yeah.
that becomes reflected on the stage if you're talking
Yes.
about your idea.
Yes. Yes. It's very. That's also what I always say is that it's great to work on your public speaking skills, which we now have agreed upon is a life skill, because there is nothing so, for most people, nothing so frightening, but also so confronting. There is no hiding on the stage. If you have some shame, if you have some fear, whatever it may be, it will manifest itself, it will come out. And to be able to embrace that rather than fight it, that's a massive step of growth in personal growth. Yeah.
Wow. I say every time I like this so much, and that's because I mean it. Because
Yeah.
like, if we can see public speaking not as a trick that you learn to convey an idea better, but more as a mindset or a skill, a life skill that you can become better at, that you will see in your daily life, but also the experience from daily life you can bring back to the skill. And it's like an interaction between what you're doing on stage, but also what you're learning as a person about yourself. And the combination of the soup basically is what you present in the end on the stage.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like you mix the ingredients, and sometimes you put it a bit more out, and sometimes you have to put a bit more in. Great.
Exactly.
And thinking about this, do you see something happening, like a number one mistake that you see so often, that you can call out, but also maybe give the first step of people how they can handle it?
Actually, what I also already mentioned, that people are stuck in their head, and that for many people, they are very much at the level of conveying information, transferring information, knowledge. And this might be depending on the occasion, because sometimes it is really about informing, but then still, by all means, please also be inspiring, so people are motivated. So you want to work, first check out also which effect do you want your speech to have. Do you want to motivate? Do you want to inspire? Do you want to transform people? And then, make sure that all your words, all your expression, all your being works towards that. Your question was a little bit different, right? But I got
no, but
yeah.
We have a plan, and then we flow, like just like you said. And what did I wanted to say? You said something that triggered something in my head. We'll come back. I don't remember.
I can also add that this whole idea of the inner confidence and showing up as yourself, of course, in a professional context, there's always a context, but it's also very much about allowing yourself. And what I mean with that is that a lot of people play small, or they police themselves, like they start to be very careful. And then with my clients, I also, we talk about this and see like, okay, ideally, if there were no limits, or if you were not afraid, or if you follow your dream, how powerful would you be on the stage? To what extent would you fully express yourself? And I think that is what makes, that's what I feel is what makes my job so beautiful, to see people like open up, to see them blossom, to see them go next level in a way. And it starts with allowing themselves. It's like a button they find that they can push, or a key that they turn, and then a whole new level of being and expressing themselves becomes possible. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That you can, come back to the soup, that you on the stage have new skills that you can apply in real life, but in real life learn more skills that you can bring back to the stage. Or like a stage can also be in front of a room, right? It doesn't have to be in a football stadium with a million.
No, there's different sizes of audience and different occasions where a person can speak. Yeah. But that's also the leadership thing that I also teach. A speaker is a leader. Mm-hmm. I say this, and then I see people processing this and imagining things like, oh, what does it mean? And then we go look at that, like, what does it mean? And what do I think it means? And what does it mean to you? And how we're going to fill this in? Because indeed, a lot of people think, okay, when I present or I speak, yes, I'm going to give people new information. But it's more than that. It's also on a stage, it is a position of leadership, and it comes with expectations. And then I make people think about that. Okay, what are the expectations? Do you shrink under what you imagine are the expectations of others? Or leadership then for me means, can you put your own expectations out there? Like, it's going to be a success if this and that. And I want to put yourself in that driver's seat. Mm-hmm. And show up and steer the energy, feel the energy in the room, but then also steer it. People love that. People love speakers who, are awakened, and who awaken also the audience, and they move them, and they manage to not only speak to the mind, but speak to the heart. Yeah.
I completely agree. Like, if you're sitting in a chair listening to someone else, what is it that you want? First of all, your attention is not given immediately, because everybody gets distracted within nanosecond.
Yes.
And the fact that you're already sitting in front of someone already says that you blocked some time, which is really, really, really like amazing, because time is our most valuable asset. And then indeed, like, as a listener, what do you want? Like, let's pretend that we're not thinking about the speaker's mind, but like the listener's mind for a moment. What do people want to hear? They want to be, they don't want to be lectured or poured into information that maybe they find interesting, but on some point it will be too much. It's not how much we can handle. You just want to be enlightened, inspired, like you want to feel something, feel connected to the speaker.
Yes.
And at some point you open your window of listening, you're completely aware, you're completely there, and then as a speaker you can just use it and go to the place that you want them to bring. It's awesome how you say that.
Yeah. That's the magic, right? That's the magic that you want, that happens when you go out there and speak to an audience. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the word magic. Like, personally, I'm very fascinated by it. I already told in another video I recorded with someone else. It was, and then just analogies with magic just appeared. And what I think is so interesting about magic is that, in a way, we all know that it's a trick. We all know, or a lot of people think it's a trick. It's just
Mm-hmm.
a nice, like you're fast with your hands, or you're distracting me on some point.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when it's been executed really, really well,
Mm-hmm.
we just don't understand. We cannot put our finger on how it happened, but we see that
Mm-hmm.
it happened, and we feel that it happened, and we're like amazed by how it happened.
Yeah.
And that sprinkle of, the person did something, you just don't know exactly how, but you
Yeah.
do feel it. That analogy, I think it's so cool, um, to use on presentation. Like you know that someone is just talking, like they're just using their mouth, they're standing in
Mm-hmm.
front of you, and then you don't know how they did it, but you just
Mm-hmm.
feel the impact that they're making or on you. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's like what magic is all about. It's like a fascinating skill as well. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the greatest thing that a good speaker can do is to really, yeah, uplift the speaker, make a change. And there is the audience before you speak, and there is the audience after you speak. And you want to really have made a difference, and you want to gain clarity on exactly what difference you want your speech to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah, this was not really a client, but someone I know, and she was gonna go give an important speech. And she said, Elizabeth, I made this. And I know she did a lot of speech training already, and she's great and great enthusiasm. So I have no doubts on the delivery. But I also, well, it's always nice to have a sounding board, or someone else who can have a quick view or a view on your speech. And I saw it, and I really felt like, yes, this is really a good speech, one of those transformational speeches that really keep touching the audience, making a shift in their mind, so they can really come out differently when she has spoken. And that's really, yeah, I saw the magic in that speech. That was wonderful. Yeah.
This is interesting or fascinating to me because you read the speech,
Yeah.
right? So you were talking about this difference between informational and transformative.
Transformational.
Transformational, thank you. And and you were also talking about, okay, it's not only about a framework, it's about a mindset as well. So
Mm-hmm.
how can I or anyone else listening to this,
Mm-hmm.
their own ideas, make a transformational talk
Mm-hmm.
about something that they think of when they put it in words? Because you know what I'm going towards. Like, on one hand, the mindset is very important, but a mindset you cannot read on paper. And
The
when you
what? The
feel
mindset or what?
a mindset, you cannot
Yeah.
read on paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just plain text. So how can someone listening to this start to become more transformational? What is it, and how can we come one step closer towards that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, good question again. I think it starts with also believing that you can make a change in other people's lives. So again, yeah, gaining clarity on that, knowing for yourself, okay, it's also about meeting the audience where they are. So you cannot just go to the transformation immediately. You have to spend, and this actually is a mistake a lot of people make. Different example, a manager who also has to engage the team sometimes has a tendency to jump too quickly on, okay, here is what we're going to do and here's how we're going to do it. Like, here's the list of things that we're going to do, you're going to do this, and by then, and blah blah blah. But then people feel, they immediately go into the resistance because, there is someone telling me what to do. So you have to spend enough time on the why, and on the where are we now, where are you now, what has been, okay, to a limited extent, when it's a manager situation at work, but to touch upon on the why, and to meet the audience where they are, and to have also clarity on where is the resistance, where is the fear. So to take that into your speech, and then take them to, okay, where do we want to go? What's the dream, the vision, the ambition? the desire.
Yeah.
So you cannot, it's really simply put, there is a suffering state, beautiful state, fear, love. And most people, most of us spend a lot of time being afraid of things. Nothing wrong with that, but you want to grow in awareness and step more into the place of the beautiful state where ambition, desire, what do I want to create? So I think in the transformation, if you want to transform people, go first, meet them where they are, show some understanding, a certain level of compassion, but then maybe also trigger them a bit so they are awakened literally and they can see new possibilities.
Yeah.
But you have to prepare for that. You cannot immediately imagine your life would be like this. Let's go there. Mm-hmm. And then come with the stories of how it could. So you have to make that. It's a journey, and it helps then, of course, to also come with stories of yourself, of others, like how one day I was there as well, and this is what my life looked like, and you made it concrete, and every day I woke up crying, or in the morning I couldn't go out of bed, and then because people might recognize that, so you go meet them there, and then you explain in detail like what made you. One day there was an insight, or you felt something, or you saw something, and there was like this shift. So you have to really take people through that if you want to make the transformation. Yeah, so really about this, a bit cliche, but seeing the light, right?
Mm-hmm. So out of our enthusiasm, we should not forget to remind the people of our audience what their problem actually is, where they are right now, what they're feeling right now, before you start pouring out your heart on the solution and the idea that you're having. Remind them of what they're struggling with, because they know, they just need to be reminded. It's really about meeting the audience where they are at the knowledge level, but also the feeling level, and how does that look like in the daily life? What do they do? What is it that they don't do? What could be different? So this is about you need clarity, but you also need relevance. People need to feel that this is about them, that it matters to them. So this is one of the key things. Like if you speak, why is this important? Why is it important to me? Why should you care? So you have to give enough time and words to tackling that. So people are with you. You have to take them with you from the beginning. If you don't take them with you from the beginning, it's usually lost. But I mean, I'm not saying that you can never catch up again, but from your opening sentences should really be already mind-blowing and make them see like, whoa, this is gonna be interesting. I better listen. Yeah, it's cool that you say you have to take them on a journey, because like personally I really like race biking. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you say that, this analogy pops in my mind. Like if you go cycling together with someone and you both step on the bike and you go at the same pace, it's really, really comfortable and easy. You know, like it just flows. Yeah. But sometimes I'm racing with, or I'm biking together with someone who completely every time fluctuates speed. So, for example, you go a bit faster and then you have to be, oh shit, crap, I need to go faster too. And then on some point it just slows down and you're like, oh, but now I got the speed, let's continue. And then it just takes a lot of energy, and on some point you just think like, okay, let that person drive in front of you, I will catch him up later because the speed will go down again anyway. And that's a lot of effort and a lot of thinking that has nothing to do with race biking. So what we want, maybe as a speaker as well, is to be so mindful of the speed of the other person that you're driving next to it, but also on some point have such a good pace together that you can speed up while someone else can, still cycle next to you. Like actually bringing people on the journey, not like hypothetically or in a vague state. It's like, how would you do it in real life? You will hold someone's hand and look, this is cool, this is cool. And if they're lost, they won't see the beauty that you can show.
very nice image that you use, Laurie. Very nice with the bicycle, and that is also a technique that I always advise to use, like images, things like that. And like, I had a bike thing, and then people, this idea of the bike helps them remember what the point was. Yeah. So very nice.
I like always to explain it also like that, because I learned some years ago that there's different kind of people thinking in different kind of ways, and I found out that I am a super visual person, like
Yeah, good.
extremely visual. So
Mm-hmm.
and I've also found out it's not only me, it's around 30% of the people on the earth.
Yeah,
So when we only speak in literally sentences with information, I will be lost within 2 minutes.
you
And
have to
so
see it, right?
I need to see it. I need to see
Yeah,
the
me
problem
too.
in a
Yeah.
vivid way. You have that too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes people are talking, and then if I don't see it, I tune out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
this works well in public speaking, to use to paint a picture, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need per se dias, but if you talk in a vivid way, I think it's even better, right? Because if
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at dias and pictures, your attention goes to another place, and if someone is still talking, I'm not focusing on the talking, because as humans we can also not do two things at the same time very well. Although
Exactly.
a lot of men think that we as women can. I'm not sure about you, but I'm not really great with that.
No. I agree. Yeah.
So talking vividly can indeed really, really help and engage a lot of people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. And then also I want to add to that, because this is also interesting for the people who are watching this or listening to this, is that because now I'm talking about how to inspire, engage, how to take people through a transformation, and all these wonderful things. And I absolutely, totally believe this is possible. But there is also this. I also teach some realistic expectations. Whenever you talk to an audience, please do not expect that 100% of the people will be with you. And it's really helpful to accept that. But these are sometimes actually really good audience members. I call them the thinkers, the reflectors. Like, they would sit like maybe with their arms crossed and be like this, like, looking critical. And if you have not so much experience, this might freak you out to see some people like that. But don't worry, because often I've learned that often these are people, they process the information a little bit differently. They like to do a reflection on their own. And they're often actually very enthusiastic afterwards, and when they come back to you and speak to you about the speech. And then other people, as you say, like you also like images, and you feel it maybe a lot. Some, not saying this accounts for you, but some people, they hear something and they immediately want to put it into action. They are immediately actually already implementing, and they're in a hurry, and they're like, yes, oh yeah, I can't wait to start doing what you just inspired me with. So you also have, you have different kinds of people in the audience, and it's good to know that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this ties back to your mindset point, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel about what you're seeing? And is it actually true what your own conclusion is? If someone looks like this, which I did actually, I found out that I was that person. I was super interested, but when I listen to something, I apparently, for other people, look a bit angry. And some
Yeah.
people actually asked me, well, what's going on? I was like, what's going on? Nothing. Like,
Everything's fine.
yeah, you look so angry. I'm like, no, I'm super intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
So we can also learn ourselves to think, okay, when people look like this, they're just intrigued. If it's true or not, we just make it a reality, just to help ourselves a bit better. So
Absolutely.
I like that you say that. Indeed, like, we have a way of absorbing information. We also all have a way of sending our information, and it's not the same as we are used to. I mean,
No.
I'm from the Netherlands, and
Mm-hmm.
as a kid, I always believed that every household was working in the same way. And for us, like, Sinterklaas, which is like the Christmas in the Netherlands kind of. Um, it's kind of a fairy tale, right? So at some point my parents told me it's not true, he doesn't exist. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to all my friends about this because I have this big secret now. And they were like, no. Some of your friends don't know it yet. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Because if I know, they should know, right?
Yeah.
It was not the same. Like everything works in a different way. And as a kid, I started to see more and more examples about like rituals or routines in our house that was
Mm-hmm.
not the same, that weren't the same in other people's
No.
houses. And when you get older, you find out that there's even other cultures and other countries and other like whole variety of differences. So the
Yeah.
way we adjust information or that we perceive how other people do,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not always true. So let's make our own reality and just choose the most positive version. If
Yes.
people are on their phone, they're
Yeah.
not bored, they're taking notes.
Yeah, that's also what I always tell to people, and never assume, don't take anything personal, because that's your little victim mind that then, oh look, because you already have this inner critic saying maybe what you're saying is not so interesting, and then you see someone on the phone and then immediately you take that as a confirmation, like, see, what I'm saying is not so interesting. But that's it's a bias, it's a thinking mistake.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But this is interesting material also for speakers to know that how people tend to think. Most people really think that other people see the world in the same way they do. And it takes practice and a ritual or exercise to remind yourself that other people see the world differently. And to take this also into account in your speech, can be helpful for making more impact.
Wow. I love how this conversation developed from, okay, it's about public speaking, to it's a life skill, to maybe it's actually a life lesson that you can apply on public speaking. And I think that is actually like maybe a small summary of this whole of this whole talk. And just to make sure it's not too long, because I do believe that we can just stay on for hours. Like, is there just one thing that you feel that you really want to share with the audience listening right now, or with the person listening right now, that can help them just make this extra small shift, like something they can use?
Ooh,
Putting you in front of the bus here, so.
No, I feel like, okay, a lot, clearly a lot has been said already, and I think it's better to pick one idea from our conversation and implement it, and then take one step forward. So actually, okay, this is my final piece of advice. In public speaking, as you have heard, dear listener or viewer, there are many aspects. And maybe now you feel a little bit overwhelmed. Then my advice is, it's step by step. For every time you present, you focus on improving one aspect. So it could be like, okay, now I'm going to focus a lot on fluent structure that creates the desired effect. Next time, I'm going to give attention to my inner conversation, my confidence, my leadership. So that's the best way to grow, to implement each time one point for improvement, and then getting better all the time. It's a journey. It's important to start also enjoying public speaking, because this is one thing I wish for all my clients. And I'm always very happy if my clients told me, I went to speak, it went well, and most of all, I enjoyed it.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. It's not about more and more and more. It's about repetition. Anchor in the knowledge that you already have, but do not apply perfectly yet. So I think that's great advice. And I think that's also a great way to end it. Because if you're listening right now, then stop listening and start doing. Because
exactly,
in a way, knowledge is really cool. You can sound very smart and you can impress your friends or your colleagues or relatives with facts that you understand. But what if you can just showcase it because you apply it? I mean, that's real impact, and that's what we're talking about. So pause the video, and go do it.
All right, you've heard it. Knowledge is just knowledge, but it's only powerful when you apply it. So let's do that. And when you apply all the knowledge for this conversation, make sure you give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because there's way more impactful stuff yet to come.